welcome to another episode of Jakub's House of Rock. And today, I'm barely awake. No, today we're doing a unboxing video. I'll be unboxing the JOYO BanTamP Zombie. So, what this is, or, well, what you'll see that it is in a sec, is JOYO are sort of a Chinese company. They make cheap guitar pedals and stuff like that. They're fairly have a reputation for making fairly good stuff, usually clones of other pedals and stuff. But they also make their own line of amps and stuff now, even some like fully valve equipped ones and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting to see what they're doing. And the line of BanTamPs is they're basically means tiny amps. It's kind of a wordplay derived of bantam, which is like a small chicken. But here's the parcel with it in it. I'm really the reason I'm filming this now and not waiting till later in the day when I'm more awake is that I just can't wait to take a look at this thing. But yeah, this arrived really early in the morning, so pardon me if I'm a little bit out of it, but we'll get by that. Yeah, so they're a Chinese company. They've been doing some interesting stuff. I don't think I have any of their pedals. I have a bunch of like Tom's Line. I have one of those. I have Rowan and some other ones, but I don't think I have a JOYO one. But from what I've heard, they're pretty good. And yeah, so these are like if you're an Orange user, so you know Orange amps. If you've used their Micro Terror or Micro Terror Dark or one of those ones, then that's something in the same ballpark as this thing, because those are they have one single preamp tube in there and a solid state power section, and they're about 20 watts of output, and that's what this thing should be. So I have the Micro Terror, and that's a really good amplifier. Like I mean, it's tiny. It's like it is tiny. It's like that big. You could weighs nothing. I mean, it's a solid little build. It's made of metal and everything, but for a amplifier it weighs nothing, you know. And so what I'm hoping is that this one can stand up to that one, because up to this point all my amps are pretty much like vintage voiced amplifiers, and sort of British vintage voiced amplifiers, you know. Orange, I have that Laney, and those are like my only like proper amps, and then the rest are just small crappy practice amps and Fender amps. Yeah, so they're also, I guess they're not British voiced, but they're not voiced to be high gain. So I don't have anything in the realms of a moderate to high gain in an American voicing, just a Fender for cleans, but it's kind of become redundant since that Laney does it so well, if you've been following my videos. But in saying that, I'm really excited to see what this one's how this one turns out. So I'm gonna take it out now. You know, it's pretty heavy. It's a nice big parcel. Just arrived. One advantage that these amps have over the Orange amps, aside from some people claiming that these ones, this one sounds a lot less fizzy than say the Dark Terror or something, is that these have these ones have an effects loop, which is really good, because with the whole Terror line, most of those Orange amps don't have an effects loop, and that's been kind of limiting for me, and that's the reason why I even got that Laney combo in the first place. But I still love my Oranges, you know. Oh, here we go. Now we have a box in bubble wrap. You can see it says BanTamP Mini Tube Amplifier, and then it's the JOYO website. So You can see that. Awesome. Okay. This paper off. There we go. Get some more tape off. Tape Off is actually a band. I think my high school English teacher is in it. So check those guys out if you're ever in Brisbane. Go. I'll probably just pull it out now, but I'm gonna do it the hard way, because why not? It'll look neater. Okay, almost. So close. There we go. Alright, let's have a look. So you can already see the box I'm opening there. There we go. Ooh. It's funny how when you don't have the padding all over the package, the box feels heavier than the whole package, even though literally it's like a gram less, but it feels quite hefty. Which is the top? That's way up, I think. Yeah. Let's have a look at this box here. So there's the other amplifiers. I should also explain, if you're aware of what this is, you probably have heard this time and time again, but the JOYO BanTamPs, they're each voiced after or modeled after a different classic amplifier sound, or just voiced to be somewhere similar to that. So from what I understand it, the red one is meant to be, a Marshall Plexi. This one is meant to be, what's it called? A Mesa Bogie kind of thing. I think the white one is meant to be a PV 605, or I forget what the number of that one, but it's that like famous sort of PV heavy metal one, I think. I could be completely wrong. It might not even be a PV. The green one, maybe a Vox AC30, I think. The blue is stands for blues and jazz, but people is a blues and jazz one where people say it's a Fender of some sorts, and the yellow one is an orange. So that's kind of what these are all about. So in the spirit of JOYO, they try to copy the voicings of existing amps or pedals. It's their thing. Oh yeah, so here we go. Let's go. One 12AX7 preamp tube, one effects loop, because why would it have more than that? Dual tone channel design. Yeah, these have 2 channels. Isn't that great? Though something tells me a lot of people aren't going to be using this for cleans. Bluetooth 4.0 connection for music playback. That's something that I'll probably never use, but you can play songs through it with Bluetooth. A headphone output, and apparently their headphone output has a cabinet simulator, but apparently they didn't invest very much in making it sound very good, so I wouldn't recommend recording through that, because I've had some other demos of people recording through that headphone output, and it sounds cheap and fizzy. So yeah, something to be aware of if you want this amp to record out of. Best to have your own cabinet or cabinet emulator or something in the chain before it goes into your interface. and 8 ohm 20 watt output power. So all standard stuff. Apparently this thing, like, if you guys have never heard or played the Micro Terrors by Orange, then you have no idea how loud a 20 watt amp like this can be through anything bigger than, well, even through a 112 cabinet. I've gotten it so loud that I could easily play with the drummer, and she plays really loudly. So that Orange one you can easily gig with that. But this one, I've heard pretty much the same thing. So I might do like a comparison later on. But here we go. So opening it up, you get your JOYO BanTamP, whatever this is, booklet. We'll look at that in a sec. And padding, so foam padding. Oh, I can feel the amp. It's metal. You got a cable, a nice hefty cable to plug this in, as well as a cable that's a guitar cable. Probably not the best guitar cable, but doesn't matter. More of a cable to plug it in. Just the little adapter block, because this thing doesn't go straight from the regular power right into it. Just the same as the Orange. Okay, so taking this out, black foam, which is appropriate. So already, like, they look like they could be, whoa. Okay, so if you're just looking at these things and you're like, oh, it's JOYO, the brand that's like the cheap maker of stuff, you'd think that this would be like it just kind of has a vibe about it, like it would be plastic, but actually, I can tell you right now, this whole thing is made of a pretty hefty metal construction, apart from this little, oh no, that plate there is metal too, I think. Yeah. Yeah, so pretty much everything apart from like the knobs and that little antenna and it's just the little screws around these jacks. Everything else on this is like a pretty hefty solid metal. So give you guys a good look at this thing. So this is my first time seeing one of these in person. So there it is. You can see in there it's got that 12AX7 right in the middle pretty much, which is different to how the Orange has it, because the Orange has it to the side. It's actually a shame they don't have I'd have preferred, instead of the JOYO logo here, if they had like a clear or like a slightly more open panel to have a better look at that tube while this thing's on, because I like watching them glow. But amps, only a few select high-end amps seem to have clear panels at the front to see the tubes. All of mine have it blocked off, unfortunately. But this one probably won't glow very much anyway, like my Laney. It has like the two big power tubes. I forgot the code of what those ones are, but they glow really bright, like they could illuminate some stuff. But the ones in my Orange glow moderately light, the Dual Terror, and in the Micro Terror, I don't think you can barely notice it. There might be just like a little dot of light. But it'll be interesting to see when I plug this in, both how it sounds like and how much that valve glows. So, I mean, there is a little bit of a way to look through here with the dots, but that's really nothing, is it? Anyway, so this one, it's got two channels, the clean and the overdrive, and it's also got the Bluetooth function, which you can turn off and on. I'm going to keep that off because I'm probably never going to use it, like I said. You got the gain, tone, and volume as standard, just like the Orange Micro Terror. So this one So apparently this one has a good clean, which is always nice. It's not foot switchable, so that's something people have had an issue with. I will look into whether you can mod this to make it so you can switch it with a foot switch, because there's probably a way to do it. I wouldn't doubt that. There's that effects loop and the speaker out. So minimum 8 ohm for the speaker, and yeah, it'll be fun to do some stuff with the effects loop, because I want to do a demo of what this thing sounds like if you take it into the preamp. I mean, if you take it as a preamp and you run it through a full valve power stage. So you do that by basically using the effects loop and just using the out from this amp. Instead of plugging it back into the loop, you plug it in back into the loop of another full valve amp, always making sure, of course, that you have a load, aka a speaker plugged into that amplifier, because any tube amp that you run, really, it's important to have a speaker of the right impedance plugged in at all times when it's on. So this one probably wouldn't need that, because this one's like 99% solid state, apart from just the one tube they have in this just to kind of warm up the sound, but it's really not a full tube amplifier at all, because it's, you know, the whole power section solid state. Probably the preamp section would be fairly heavily solid state as well, just because of the gain that this thing apparently can get. So anyway, I'm super excited to test this out, because I've never played through like a proper sort of metal amp. I've played through hard rock amps, which I love to drive really hard, get that Black Sabbath-y 1970s sound, which is my favorite heavy metal sound, and I can get some. Oh, sorry, my table here is a bit wonky. That's okay. The review's almost over. Oh, the unboxing is almost over. Yeah, so I've only played through those sort of amps, really. I've had some pedals put into them, which have been pretty heavy, but I'm interested to see what this one sounds like, because it's gotten overall a lot of praise. Here and there, it's got some negative reviews, but so does everything, and overall, so far, just by seeing it in person, I'm pretty impressed. It feels really solid. It doesn't feel cheap or crappy at all, and I'm not at all paid or sponsored to say any of that. So it's a good thing, I guess. And let's see, user manual. Anything in here that's interesting? Yeah, nothing you guys probably wouldn't know. It's only like 2 pages anyway. Is that all from the box? It's just a cardboard rectangular tube. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I do apologize again that I'm being a little bit out of it this morning. As I said, it is really early for me. I barely slept, and I was woken up by the delivery man delivering this. So very much worth it, though. So yeah, just if you guys have one of these or any in the line, let me know what you think. Or if you have that orange Micro Terror, let me know just what your experiences with that have been, because mine have been really positive. That was just a great sounding little amplifier, and I hope that this one can compete with it, or just at least be decent. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you in my full-on demo of this little bad boy right here. So over and out, guys. Goodbye.